Hey everyone, James from Merchant Spring here for another episode of Marketplace Masters, where we bring you insights from industry leaders around the world. Jack, thank you so much for making time in what looks to be your evening out the window behind you to chat with me. So, I wanted to get started with you, right? And just introduce yourself and kind of explain a little bit about what you do in the e commerce space.
Yeah, and James, you hit the nail on the head. This is a beautiful sunset here, over the Hudson River here in New York. But good day to you in Australia. So my company, Payability, we are the leading working capital provider for e-commerce businesses that are on .com marketplaces and platforms. Specifically, in 2014, we got our start in the Amazon, Walmart, and at the time, the eBay ecosystems. Our founders, Scott Lynn and Keith Smith, come from the ad tech space. At one of their prior companies, they saw that there were a lot of struggles for these Amazon and Walmart businesses to access their sales every single day. Amazon and Walmart and some other marketplaces, they pay out their sellers that have been on the platform for less than 10 years on delayed terms. So in 2014, we said, why don't we come up with a solution to help solve for this and to allow e-commerce entrepreneurs to have that, have access to their daily earnings so they can effectively invest across meaningful marketing and advertising channels. They can continue to invest in inventory, things that will continue accelerating their sales. So we launched Instant Access. Instant Access allows you to make available up to 80% of your daily sales, with the remaining 20% being held back for chargebacks and returns. And after the 2-week cycle or 20-day cycle, those funds are released and the cycle repeats itself. As more marketplaces and e-commerce has continued to expand and grow, as we've, definitely seen during the pandemic, we've had to evolve. And we also have a short-term, typically 5-month schedule instant advance, where we project a future month's sales and advance it to an Amazon, Walmart, Shopify business up front. Again, mainly for the purposes of making sure that they're not going out of stock and investing in inventory, marketing and advertising, et cetera. Currently, to date, we've deployed just over $4 billion of capital. And, we're constantly growing and have about 3,000 users on the Payability platform to date.
Oh, it's a fantastic story. And I don't know if you know, but I have a background in business lending. So this is bringing back some very interesting memories, that's for sure. So straight into the question. So what are the specific challenges you see sellers facing in this, peak season?
Yeah, I mean, look, don't have to really, shock anyone here. Quarter 4 is the busiest time for e-commerce businesses. There are major headaches and ripple effects that are being felt from e-commerce businesses and our customers, across the US and globally on these .com marketplaces. And these headaches are rippling from the global supply chain issues. Look, at the end of the day, a lot of these sellers right now, are having their shipments delayed. There are cases where, in instances where on the international side of things, there have been a record 56 container ships at one point were stuck outside of California, jacking up the cost of these shipping containers. And, don't need to, continue beating the same old drum. I know a lot of people have been saying these supply chain issues, but our customers are feeling it. And, I think the big stat that jumps out to me is prior to the pandemic, an average cost of, one 40-foot container would be around $8,300 or so dollars. Today it's up 54% of that number. So, these are huge concerns, and it doesn't stop there. I think another thing, that we're seeing is, there's a huge warehouse pricing issue as well, and that's a result of the supply chain issues. So lots of issues that are rippling from supply chain, and again, our customer base is having a slowdown in the velocity of their sales, which is definitely something where we're looking to expand and invest across new marketplaces to help grow our business as well during this headwind that we're facing as a result of these supply chain issues.
Yeah, it's I think you're certainly not alone. I think a lot of people we speak to, no matter what type of solution provider or even seller they are, they're experiencing these issues, and it also applies, almost anywhere in the world. So, just on to the next thing. What changes do you see coming to the marketplace selling arena next year? I know we've come through a very challenging year, but there must be something positive that you're kind of anticipating in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, I think from us, we've been very lucky to the point where we haven't needed that venture funding to scale and grow as a business. But you see, venture funding and a whole boatload of capital being thrown into the e-commerce space, into working capital solutions that are out there. And I think that's something that is at the focus of our company and management team, is making sure we secure the right amount of funding to enable us to explore new product developments, new marketplaces. We would love to be integrated with the big commerces of the world, the WooCommerces of the world. But I think as far as our customer base goes, James, I think we're going to see a really significant shift in sellers from the reseller category to those that are focused on proprietary selling and white labeling product, with the eventual goal of exiting to an aggregator like a D1 Brands, a Perch, a Heyday, a Thrasio. It's absolutely astounding the amount of capital that is being deployed to the D1 Brands of the world. I know they just locked up 123 million in venture funding back in August, and their aim is again to gobble up the appropriate FBA businesses that are accelerating their sales. So we definitely think there's going to be a shift in our seller base that are going to be looking to produce their own proprietary product. The second thing I see is that, again, there's this continued theme of a diversification away from Amazon. As we all know, Amazon's in my opinion and many others, the world's largest marketing engine. There are a lot of D2C brands and founders that I speak with that might be interested in our daily payout solution, but they say, Jack, we're looking to actually get away from Amazon. We're looking to retain more brand equity. And we're looking to go to a Shopify of the world where we already have that stickiness of our customer base. And we'd like to, not have to give up a 20 to 30% share to Amazon. So I do think there is going to be a diversification away from Amazon, and we're going to continue to see that. I don't think it's going to be as seismic as people think it might be, but I think it's going to be for these, specific D2C brands that are hitting a certain amount of volume in sales a year.
Very interesting. I just wanted to kind of make a comment that what you mentioned about the diversification it's funny. That's what we've always seen in Australia. It's almost the complete opposite. Like, everybody's started with diversification down here and then gone, oh yeah, maybe I should focus on one marketplace. So it's actually, it's very interesting to see the contrast between Australia and the US. But
yeah. And look, there just unbelievable amounts of Shopify businesses in Australia that at some point we would like to have the capabilities to serve from a working capital perspective. I know you guys have some of the strongest Shopify partner agencies out there. And there are too many of them to name, and I know we're short on time, but there are tons of opportunities down under for sure, and for you all.
Yeah, and look, and I think your point about the shift towards proprietary or private label selling is certainly something we've seen with a lot of our newer users actually being in that space and not being resellers. So I think we're all seeing a whole lot of shifts in the marketplace for sure. But my final question for you, Jack, is what is your top tip for Amazon specific selling as we come into Q4? Anything you can share with us or that you've learned from your customers?
Yeah, there are many tips. Again, this is the crunch time for all e-commerce businesses and most importantly our sellers. The main tip I have for Amazon selling in Q4 is right now with all the supply chain issues going on. It all comes down to forecasting demand appropriately. And the cold hard facts are if you can't support the demand, as a result of containers not arriving on time, it's going to be crucial for these operators to pull money out of Amazon advertisements or campaigns that are already very pricey. Again, our funding does go towards these marketing and advertising dollars, and even without a supply chain issue globally, one of the common themes I'm hearing is these ads are very expensive. We don't have the capital to do it, but they're so necessary. So definitely, if you're not getting the supply on time, pulling those marketing dollars out. And, I like being scrappy. I at one point was delivering pizzas during the pandemic. And the reality of it is if the supply isn't there, it is time to get scrappy. If you can go out and find a cheaper way to get a hold and of your raw materials and find someone that can manufacture your product in the US and that will able to, get your supply to meet the demand, then definitely try that. But again, it all comes down to forecasting demand appropriately right now.
Yeah, interesting. Very pragmatic tip there, Jack. But look, we'll leave it there. I know you probably need to get away to your dinner or something like that. I've just seen the sun go down behind your shoulder. So thanks again for making time, and I'm sure we'll have you back.
Yeah, James, and thank you so much for having me. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning there down under. And we'll definitely be in touch and wish you and the team the best of luck in Q4.